And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show. I bet you helmets and pads are coming out real soon for the Beaumont Cougars. We got head coach Jeff Steinberg as they are getting ready for their, I think it's called week 00 week. So, Coach Steinberg, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Pep.
Did I get that right? You guys are playing Hawaii. I think it's August, I want to say 14th. Is that right?
August 14th, on a Thursday, yeah, in on Oahu.
So that's obviously, if you're a casual football fan, that's going to be a week before most other teams start. So I think it's called week 00. But so how did this come about? Because you had to get, I guess, approval from CIF to go out of state and play an early game. How did this all kind of come together, Coach?
Well, and let me tell you, that's the easy part. Uh, so last year was a real successful trip going to St. George, Utah with the team, and it was as a coach, it was my first time in my career taking our team out of state, and it was just such a positive experience. We started talking, and I started talking with our booster group, and we started talking about some different places, and then it just kind of popped into my head that, hey, let's build on that great experience, and let's start the season in another state. And so we put some feelers out to different states and teams, and I have a friend in Hawaii that actually used to be the head coach at one of the Kamehameha schools,
Mm-hmm.
and he helped us out with finding a team. We found a team, and then we just kind of got going with the travel group and all that stuff. And I think it's just a really cool experience as a kid to, like, well, not only just play football, right? Like, that's a great experience, but we want to provide them with something that's pretty unique. So we're going to try to travel every 2 years, which it's a lot, but a lot of stuff that has to happen for that to go. But I think it's pretty neat for the kids, and they're worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great experience to kick off the year like that. And besides the X's and O's, are you the travel coordinator as well? Are you, having to say, okay, we're gonna go snorkeling on this day, and then we're gonna go see this volcano on this on this other day?
So, yeah. So again, we're fortunate in that we're working with an agency that does sports travel, and also we just have a terrific booster group that we can focus on the other stuff, so that they can help out with the fundraising and the itinerary. A little probably had a little bit of involvement in terms of, okay, well, this is when we need to practice and have our meetings, and this is the day of the game. They would ask questions on, which day would you like to do this activity, and are there any activities you want to do and don't want to do? Obviously, there's a cost factor; you can't do everything, so we had to take that into consideration too. But I think between the boosters and myself and the travel agency, we were able to put together a really terrific itinerary for the team.
And football wise, the team you're playing, Kamehameha, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but what do we know about them? Are they pretty good? Is that going to be a good test for you guys early on?
Yeah, I really think it will. I think last year they went to the quarterfinals in their division. They were in the second division. Good football program. There's three Kamehameha high schools, and this one plays in the second division. There's another one that plays in the first division. It's a very unique high school in Hawaii. The way the system works is it's a K through 12, but you have to be of Hawaiian ancestry to be able to go to that school. So you've got to be able to prove that your parents are of Hawaiian descent,
Mm-hmm.
and so generally the kids that go there are going there. They start there in kindergarten or in elementary, and go all the way through the 12th grade. It's a private school, but it's the cost of, I guess, going there is covered by the trust fund of the school.
Wow, that's really cool. That's a kind of a different version of a private school
Totally different.
out there. And if again, if you're just a casual football fan, there's some really good teams that come out of Hawaii, like nationally ranked. There's some really good programs. So I'm sure they play some really good teams. They've been tested over the years and whatnot, because there's some good football over there.
Very very good football. We were able to take a look at a lot of the games that they played last year. We exchanged game film on Huddle, And they much like I guess California, you're going to see the whole spectrum of different offenses and defenses.
That's awesome. What a cool experience. And I think too, to kind of piggyback off what you said, that you played on the road in Utah against Dixie last year. I think Dixie comes to Beaumont this year, correct?
Yeah, and this year they'll be coming week 3. We'll see Dixie, and they'll be coming here this year, which is really cool. So it's 2 out of state teams that we get to play against.
And then, Coach, so how does the schedule stack up? Does that mean you have 2 buys, and where do they fall along the season?
We do, yeah. So we're gonna play Kamehameha, then we're gonna come back and play San Jacinto. Then we're gonna have a bye. When we come off the bye, we're gonna play Summit. Then we're gonna play Dixie. Then we're gonna host Murrieta Mesa, and then we're gonna have our next bye, and then we're gonna go into league. And
Wow.
I really like how I feel like it's going to give us an opportunity just with the early season travel, getting that bye after our second game, and then at the end of the first 5 games before we go into league, getting a little bit of a rest too. And I think they come at great times.
Well, I know you probably feel like it's all gas, no brakes right now to get ready for that first game, but yeah, that's kind of nice to have those 2 built-in buys in the season, especially right before league. That's awesome.
Yeah, it sure will. Yeah. So with the 00 week, yesterday was our first day in helmets. So we get 3 days in helmets, followed by 2 in the helmets and shoulder pads, and then next week we'll have the equipment on.
Man, it is already here. It's crazy that football season is already here.
It's been a pretty quick summer.
So, Coach, you played on the road at Utah last year, and we just mentioned Dixie's coming here. Now you're going to open up at Hawaii this year. I'm just waiting for the out-of-country trip. When are you going to go north of the border, find a good Canadian team to play up there? Come on.
I'll tell you what, that would be a pretty cool. I don't know about the football part because I just haven't kept up with enough programs up in Canada. But that would be another incredible experience for the kids doing some international travel. I know that I've talked to a few other coaches, and some coaches actually did kick around the idea of starting their season off in Ireland, which would be monumental in terms of I can't even imagine the planning that would go on for something like that.
It's tough enough to plan a trip. Then it's like, well, what about passports? Who's going to pay for the passports? And it takes like 6 or whatever, 12 months to get a passport. I mean, there's so many layers to that.
Lots of logistics.
Yeah. Coach, of course, we got it. You're a QB guru. Who's going to be the quarterback at Beaumont? Do we have a battle right now? Throw some names at us.
We're we've got 3 quarterbacks. Jeremiah Duhu, who played JV and backed up Christopher Cooper last year, is going to be our guy this year. We've got Brandon Cuellar, who's an incoming freshman that's going to play JV, and Max Kingsley, who's going to play JV, and they're going to hopefully at some point see some varsity action this year as well.
That's awesome. So I know, like you said, the helmets just came out, so we're getting towards real football when the pads come out. But what do you like about your group? What's standing out to you right now about the Cougars?
Just team chemistry is unbelievable. Great group of kids. When we talk about, I know people throw around growth mindset a lot, and we see a good mix of returning players. But I'd say overall, I would consider us a young team this year on both sides of the ball. And I love how they support each other. They don't seem to get down if they make a mistake in practice. And, sometimes I think with younger guys, they have that tendency to kind of get on themselves, and they kind of can't get rid of, your 3 plays later, and they're still reliving the mistake they made 4 plays ago. And I really like this group, that how they work with each other and encourage each other, but at the same time they hold each other accountable, which is great.
That's awesome. And Coach, finally, I know you're just coming home from an awesome quick trip to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. I know your son Jason was doing some flag football stuff over there. How was that experience? I think you were telling me that's your first time, right, to the Hall of Fame.
First time. It was surreal, just seeing it on TV, and you see induction speeches and guys that have gone in, and just being able to spend time there. It was really, really incredible. And like, as soon as we left, all I could think about is, we've got to go back. I I need more time in there. It was really cool, and then just being able to experience it with Jocelyn and Jason, and we went with another family who are our friends because our sons play on the same team, and just being able to kind of share that, and it was pretty cool.
I was thinking about it. I think the Hall of Fame ceremony is kind of wrapped around the Hall of Fame game, which is like the first week of August or so. I
Two
mean,
weeks.
that's tough for you being a football coach to get out there.
Yeah, and we and like I even talked to Jason about that. It'd be a really cool bucket list thing. Like one year when some players that that he's watching now get inducted, maybe we can make it a weekend trip to be able to watch the speeches and go to the game.
Does he have a favorite player?
Sure does. Sure does. Patrick Mahomes. But I think it'll be a while till he retires and gets inducted.
Yeah, I think there's a safe bet he's gonna get in. But Jason's a receiver, isn't he? I thought he would pick a receiver out there, like Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson or something.
Yeah, he definitely a Justin Jefferson fan. He's kind of like a Swiss Army knife out there. He plays some receiver, a little bit outside linebacker, corner. He's gone in at quarterback a few times, and he's at the age that who knows, anything could happen. So I told him to keep an open mind, and wherever he's needed, he should play.
That's a good attitude right there. Coach, my guy Mitch from KMET 1490 AM hit me up and said, don't forget, I guess they're making the trip too. The game from Hawaii will be broadcasted on the radio 1490 AM. So if you can't make the trip to Hawaii and follow Beaumont, you can follow them on the radio dial, which is pretty awesome. Not a lot of teams have that luxury, Coach.
Yeah, so the radio crew's coming, and we're gonna have a really good entourage. I was told that most of that plane on the flight that we're on is going to be, players, coaches, and families that are making the trip. So it's gonna be a fun trip, and we're gonna get a lot of support coming with us. I think we travel pretty good, and this will sure be proof of that.
Yeah, the ultimate road trip going to Hawaii to open up the season in week 00. That is Beaumont head coach Jeff Steinberg. Join us here on the Inland Sports Show. Thanks you so much, Coach. And I did want to point out one more thing. I know you said fundraising is complete, but if people want to contribute, give back to the Beaumont program, maybe line up that Ireland or Canadian trip next year, how can they support the team?
So if people want to support the team, they're free to drop me an email at the school or hit me up on social media, and I can get them in touch with our football booster group, and that any support would definitely be appreciated.
You got it. That is Coach Steinberg from Beaumont here on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports.